Alright, welcome to this last tutorial on Adobe Premiere. In this tutorial we will be going over finishing our project and exporting it out. Let's go ahead and jump into Adobe Premiere. So in this Premiere I got my finished Sotvo going on here. I've got my voiceover and going into my different VO clips. So the couple of things that I want to do to finish it up is I want to tweak the audio, make sure all the levels are correct, and then go ahead and send it out for export. So there's a couple of simple things we can do in our audio. Adobe Premiere has lots of complex tools for affecting audio, but I'll just go over a couple of the basic things that we can do. If I come to the beginning of this clip and play it, you'll notice in my VO meter that the levels are a little bit low. Ideally we want our levels to be around -8. And these are slightly lower. So there's a couple of things we can do. We want to expand our audio tracks so we can see the waveforms and kind of affect them that way. A couple of different ways that we can expand our audio to make it a little larger. We can hover in between each track and you get this little double arrow. I can click and drag my tracks to make them just a little bit bigger. And as I make them bigger, I can start to see the waveform. I can use my mouse scroll window to scroll between all of my tracks. And then with my video, since I'm not worried too much about my video, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up a little bit. I could still scrub through it, but I want to expose the audio. The other thing I can do to expose and change the size of my audio track is if I hover my mouse over the A1 or A2 and use the mouse wheel, it will grow or shrink my audio track. Well, we've got our audio. We can see we've got 2 tracks of audio. If I wanted to mute one of them and just play, I could hear what track of audio this is playing. Or I could solo a track and it will mute all the other tracks and only play this track. You can see this track 2 is the onboard camera and this track 1 is the microphone. We don't need the onboard camera mic, so we can go ahead and just delete that. I'm going to right click on my audio and tell it to ungroup the audio. And now I can affect each clip individually. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that camera audio track. You can see here my audio waveforms are fairly small, and so I want to boost them up. A couple of different ways I can do that. In my source monitor, I can select my audio clip mixer. And here you can see the VU meter, and we even have a track volume adjustment. So I can bring that up. Go ahead and play my video back. I boosted my audio a little bit. Not quite as much as I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. If I didn't want to go into this clip mixer, in the track itself, there's this little rubber band. You can kind of see this line right here. If I hover by it, my mouse turns into a little white mouse with some arrows. And that is also the volume adjuster. And so I can pull that up there.
In my eyes, very derogatory towards
I'm getting close. I'm getting up to -12. Not quite as high as I'd like. And so I've got one last tool that I can do. I'm going to go ahead and undo that audio gain. If I select my audio and go up to Clip, Audio Options, Audio Gain, then it brings up this dialog box that tells us that we can adjust our gain by X amount of dB, we can set our gain, or we can normalize our peak. And what's great about this is normalizing will look at this waveform and find the peak and move that to a specific decibel level. So in our case, we want our peaking to be about -8. I'm going to go ahead and hit 0 or -8 and hit OK. Adobe Premiere is going to analyze the audio and then boost it so that that peak will hit -8. Go ahead and hit play.
In my eyes, very derogatory towards these 3 children.
Excellent. I've now got my audio exactly where I want it. What's also nice about using that normalizing is it still gives us room to boost the audio using our mixer or our little rubber band. We want to make some more fine-tuned edits. Alright, this project is ready to go and to export. I'm going to go ahead and go into my project window and select my sequence that I want to export. In this case, it's my police VO. I'm then going to go up to File, Export, and export my media. Notice if I do not have my sequence selected, and I go to File, Export, that media is going to be grayed out. So if you get that grayed out media, you want to make sure that you select your sequence and go back to File, Export Media. It brings me to this dialog box. We've got to pay a little bit of attention for the first time that we export. What we want to do is make sure that our format is selected to H.264 and that our preset is selected to MPG export. And this preset has gone through all of the settings here to create an optimized version that is the smallest size with the greatest quality. The other thing I want to make sure is that my output name. So if I click on the output name, it'll bring up a dialog box and I can name it. It'll always default your output name to whatever your sequence was named. So in this case, I want to make sure that I'm exporting it under my naming convention. I'm going to go 03, 18, 16 for 2016, police VO. And then it's going to ask me where I want to export to. And in this case, we want to go to our desktop, finished videos. Adobe Premiere will remember where that location is from here on out when you export your video. But you may want to just double check it just to make sure. You can also see here in the output summary that it's going to my desktop, finished video, and here's its name. I could go ahead and hit export here and it would then lock up Adobe Premiere and start exporting, and I would be stuck and have to wait until it's done. But what's really neat is if we have multiple projects, if we have a package that we need to get done after this VO, we're sending this VO out really quick and then we want to work on our package. What's neat is we can send our export to a queue and have it export in the background, allowing us to continue to operate in Adobe Premiere. So I'm going to select this, Add to Queue. You can see it's going to export, and it's going to start opening up this third program called Adobe Media Encoder. Alright, with Media Encoder opened up, you can see that our sequence has been sent, and it's set to our preset of MPG export, and it's going to our output location. You can just double check and make sure that the preset is correct, and if it's not, come over and grab the MPG export and drag it on top. What's nice is you can queue up a bunch of projects in here and go ahead and hit run, and it will export each of your projects in the background, allowing you to continue to work in Adobe Premiere. I'm going to go ahead and hit start queue, and then I can jump back into Adobe Premiere, and you can see that I can continue to work. You can grab new project, or I can load up new footage and play it. If I needed to, I can create a new sequence and start working on my package version. Once the export is done, I can jump back into Media Encoder and see that it's done. If I get a failed notice or something like that, I may have to resubmit it. But after that, my file is ready. Go ahead and hit Finder, go to my desktop, my finished video, and there's my police VO.
In my eyes, very, very derogatory towards these 3 children.
Excellent. And those are the quick tutorials on Adobe Premiere. Hope it gets you started and going and ready to edit some amazing news content.